For years, air dominance belonged to the West, but now, Russia has completely flipped the game. The world has just been introduced to the PAK, the new Russian stealth bomber that promises to shift the global balance of power. With radar-invisible technology, nuclear missile capabilities, and the range to cross continents, the PAK is not just an aircraft. It's a clear message to the world. Russia is back in the game, stronger than ever. What secrets does this machine hold? How does it threaten Western powers? And most importantly, what comes next? But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Now, let's get started. What is the PAK? The PAK, short for Perspektivny Aviacyjny Kompleks Dalnej Aviacji, which roughly translates to Next Generation Long-Range Aviation Complex, is Russia's ambitious project to develop a next-generation stealth strategic bomber. This initiative represents one of the Russian Federation's largest military aerospace investments since the end of the Cold War, with the goal of eventually replacing the veteran Tupolev Tu-95MS and Tu-160 Blackjack bombers, which still play a central role in Russia's nuclear triad. Unlike its predecessors, the PAK was conceived from the ground up with a full focus on stealth and cutting-edge technology. It is designed to operate undetected by enemy radar, featuring a flying wing design similar to the iconic American B-2 Spirit bomber. This configuration not only enhances radar stealth but also provides aerodynamic efficiency, reducing the aircraft's thermal and acoustic signatures. The aircraft's development includes advanced stealth technology, state-of-the-art electronic warfare systems, and a modern avionics suite, putting it on par with the most sophisticated Western bombers. The development of the PAK is led by the renowned Russian aircraft manufacturer Tupolev, under the supervision of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Despite the country's economic challenges, the government has maintained the project as a national priority, recognizing its strategic importance on the global stage. According to Russian sources, the first prototype flight is expected to take place within the coming years, with its entry into service projected for the next decade. One interesting aspect of the PAK is that, unlike other Russian military aircraft that prioritize speed and power, this bomber emphasizes stealth, precision, and range. It will be capable of carrying a variety of weapons, including hypersonic cruise missiles and nuclear warheads, strengthening Russia's deterrence power in an increasingly unstable geopolitical context. Its range is expected to exceed 12,000 kilometers, allowing it to strike targets virtually anywhere in the world without the need for refueling. In addition to its role as a nuclear bomber, the PAK is also expected to perform electronic warfare, strategic reconnaissance, and precision strike missions with conventional weapons. This makes it not only an offensive weapon, but also a key component of Russia's integrated air defense strategy. Another noteworthy point is that the PAK's development is occurring in parallel with the modernization of existing bombers, such as the Tu-160M2. Russia's strategy is to ensure a gradual transition between platforms, avoiding operational gaps as the new bomber is tested and refined. The existence of the PAK is also a direct response to the modernization efforts of the United States and China. With the US developing the B-21 Raider and China working on the stealth H-20 bomber, Russia cannot afford to fall behind in one of the most crucial pillars of its nuclear deterrence capabilities. In conclusion, the PAK represents more than just a new military aircraft. It symbolizes Russia's attempt to reassert itself as a global military and technological power. In a world where air superiority can determine the outcome of a conflict in mere hours, possessing an advanced stealth bomber is not just an advantage, it is a strategic necessity. How the PAK aims to rival the US B-21 Raider behind the scenes of the 21st century arms race, a new generation of strategic bombers is emerging, shaping the future of global air power. Among the key players in this technological revolution are two military giants, the United States, with its already unveiled B-21 Raider, and Russia, with its highly anticipated PAK, Perspektivny Aviacyjny Kompleks Dalnej Aviacji, translated as Next Generation Long-Range Aviation Complex. The PAK is Russia's ambitious answer to America's progress in stealth technology. Developed by Tupolev, renowned for engineering icons like the Tu-160 and Tu-95, this new bomber marks a break from the past. Unlike the sleek and flashy lines of its predecessors, the PAK adopts a flying wing design, similar to that used by the B-2 Spirit and the new B-21 Raider. This configuration drastically reduces the aircraft's radar signature, making it harder to detect even with the most advanced air defense systems. The PAKDA's primary goal is bold yet straightforward: to discreetly penetrate enemy airspace, carry both nuclear and conventional weapons, and perform long-range missions with high autonomy. To achieve this, it will be equipped with cutting-edge electronic warfare systems and onboard artificial intelligence, allowing for greater decision-making autonomy in complex combat scenarios. One of the most intriguing aspects of the project is the extreme secrecy surrounding its development. Very few official images have been released, and most of what is known about its specifications comes from leaks, fragmented statements by Russian military officials, and analysis by defense experts. It is believed that the PAK will fly at subsonic speeds, prioritizing range and stealth over speed. This represents a paradigm shift, as previous Russian bombers like the Tu-160 focused on supersonic speed to evade threats. Another important innovation is that the PAK is expected to be fully digitalized, using an open system architecture that will allow for future technological upgrades without requiring major overhauls. This would make it highly adaptable to new weapon systems and evolving combat scenarios in the coming decades. But can the PAK-DA truly rival the US B-21 Raider? The B-21 is already considered one of the most advanced bombers in history. Developed by Northrop Grumman, it incorporates decades of experience from the B-2 Spirit, utilizing composite materials, radar-absorbing surfaces, and a reduced thermal signature. Moreover, the Raider was designed to operate in a networked environment with other platforms, such as satellites and sixth-generation fighters, in a concept known as network-centric warfare. On the other hand, the PAK-DA benefits from Russia's extensive experience in countering Western systems. The country has heavily invested in simulating and studying NATO's air defense systems, which could directly influence the stealth capabilities of its new bomber. Experts also point out that the PAK-DA may carry a wide range of hypersonic missiles, potentially making it one of the most lethal vectors in Russia's arsenal. Both bombers share a common objective: to maintain the strategic superiority of their respective nations for decades to come. The B-21 Raider has already completed its maiden flight, while the PAK-DA remains in an advanced development phase, with test flights expected in the coming years. Mass production is estimated to begin around 2027, with the first operational units entering service by the end of the decade. From a geopolitical standpoint, the emergence of these bombers signals the dawn of a new era of nuclear deterrence, where the ability to strike silently, from far away, and with pinpoint accuracy becomes more crucial than ever. The skies of the future will not be dominated solely by brute force, but by embedded intelligence, invisible stealth, and technological superiority. Whether the PAK-DA will truly match, or even surpass, the B-21 Raider remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the silent war has already begun, and it's being fought not with thunder, but with radar shadows and technological whispers in the secret hangars of the world's great powers. The reasons behind the development of the PAK-DA. Over the past decades, the global balance of air power has undergone significant shifts, driven primarily by the technological advancements of the United States and its NATO allies. The development of next-generation stealth aircraft, such as the B-2 Spirit and the more recent B-21 Raider, has solidified Western air dominance in large-scale military operations. In this context, Russia, the direct heir of the former Soviet military power, has found itself challenged to respond both strategically and symbolically. It is within this scenario that the PAK-DA emerges, short for Perspektivny Aviacyjny Kompleks Dalnej Aviacji, or Next Generation Long-Range Aviation Complex. The PAK-DA represents more than just a new aircraft. It symbolizes Russia's bold attempt to reclaim technological relevance in the global arms race. Designed to replace the aging Tu-95MS and Tu-160 strategic bombers, the PAK-DA promises to incorporate cutting-edge electronic warfare systems, precision weaponry, and stealth technologies. It is expected to offer deep penetration capabilities into enemy territory while minimizing radar detection. One of the main drivers behind the project was the growing perception of vulnerability in the face of Western air forces. During the Gulf War and more recently in NATO interventions in places like Libya, Syria, and Afghanistan, Western air power proved decisive. U.S. stealth bombers were able to strike high-priority targets deep inside enemy territory without being detected or intercepted. Observing this trend, Russia came to understand that relying solely on defensive systems was no longer sufficient. It became imperative to invest in offensive deterrence capabilities capable of restoring strategic balance and commanding respect. Another key factor was the intensification of economic sanctions imposed on Russia since 2014, following the annexation of Crimea. These restrictions affected various sectors, particularly defense and technology. In response, Moscow accelerated domestic programs with a focus on self-sufficiency and internal innovation. As a result, the PAKDA became not only a military asset, but also a technological and political showcase aimed at demonstrating to the world that Russia is fully capable of developing sixth-generation aircraft without relying on the West. Interestingly, the PAKDA also marks a break from traditional Russian strategic aviation design. Unlike previous supersonic bombers such as the Tu-160, the new model prioritizes a stealthy, subsonic approach, similar to the path taken by the US with the B-2. This reflects a shift in military doctrine. The current focus is on survivability in highly protected airspaces guarded by modern air defense systems like the THAAD and Patriot. To achieve this, the aircraft is being designed with smooth lines, reduced radar cross-section angles, composite materials, and internal weapon bays. There is also an intriguing detail in the PAKDA's development. The program is being led by the esteemed Tupolev Design Bureau, the same group responsible for iconic Soviet aircraft such as the Tu-22M and Tu-160. This historical continuity brings not only decades of accumulated technical expertise, but also symbolic weight. It's as if the glorious past of Soviet strategic aviation is being reimagined through the lens of the 21st century. Furthermore, the PAKDA is being designed to carry a wide range of weaponry, including hypersonic missiles, nuclear warheads, and high-precision conventional munitions. This makes it an extremely versatile platform, capable of conducting nuclear deterrence missions, long-range bombing, and even electronic warfare. It is expected to remain airborne for extended periods, supported by aerial refueling, greatly expanding its global operational range. However, the program faces significant challenges. The development of advanced stealth technologies, integration of complex systems, and high financial costs are constant obstacles. Still, Russia continues to invest heavily in the project, even amidst economic difficulties. This underscores that, for Moscow, the PAKDA is a long-term strategic priority, essential to maintaining its status as a global military power. In summary, the development of the PAKDA is Russia's multifaceted response to the growing technological and strategic dominance of the West. Driven by external threats, economic sanctions, and the need to reinvent its air force, the project symbolizes a new era in Russian military aviation. More than just an aircraft, the PAKDA is a clear sign that the battle for air superiority is still alive and more intense than ever. Design and technical features revealed. The PAKDA, known as the Prospective Aviation Complex for Long-Range Aviation, is Russia's latest promise in strategic aviation. Developed to replace the veteran Tu-95 and Tu-160 bombers, the PAKDA represents a break from traditional designs and an ambitious leap toward the next generation of stealth aircraft. Since the project was announced, technical details have gradually emerged, revealing an impressive array of capabilities and technological innovations that are attracting worldwide attention. The PAKDA's main highlight is its innovative flying wing design, similar to the American B-2 Spirit. This configuration is not chosen for aesthetics or futuristic looks alone, but for its ability to significantly reduce the aircraft's radar signature, making it extremely difficult to detect using conventional air defense systems. This aerodynamic shape also improves flight performance, allows for greater fuel efficiency, and reduces the heat emitted by the engines, making infrared detection more difficult. In terms of speed, the PAKDA is designed to fly at subsonic speeds, unlike traditional supersonic bombers like the Tu-160. This strategic decision should not be seen as a limitation, but rather as a way to prioritize stealth and range. The goal is for the bomber to penetrate enemy airspace undetected, rather than relying on speed to escape interceptions. One of the PAKDA's most impressive features is its operational range. Estimates suggest it will be capable of flying around 12,000 kilometers without refueling, easily covering vast geographic areas, an essential capability for a strategic bomber. This autonomy will allow Russia to project global power from within its own territory, which is vital in times of growing geopolitical tensions. As for its arsenal, the PAK will be capable of carrying a wide variety of weapons, including hypersonic cruise missiles, nuclear warheads, and satellite-guided precision bombs. The aircraft will feature internal weapon bays, which help maintain its stealth profile by avoiding any external loads that could increase radar visibility. Experts believe Russia may integrate smart weapon technologies and even autonomous systems into the PAK, giving the aircraft highly accurate strike capabilities adaptable to different combat scenarios. In addition, the bomber will be equipped with advanced electronic warfare systems, including signal jamming, missile evasion capabilities, and state-of-the-art sensors capable of detecting threats even before they are launched. The cockpit will feature cutting-edge technology, offering pilots a modern, intuitive interface supported by artificial intelligence. An interesting curiosity is that the PAK is being developed with a focus on modularity and digitization, meaning it can be easily updated with new software and systems over time, without requiring major structural overhauls. This approach allows the aircraft to remain relevant for decades, keeping up with the rapid evolution of the global military technology landscape. Another important aspect is the extensive use of composite materials in the aircraft's structure. This choice helps reduce weight, increases corrosion resistance, and of course, further enhances its stealth capabilities. It is estimated that much of the fuselage will be built with radar-absorbent materials, further reducing its electromagnetic signature. The PAK will also be integrated into the Russian defense network within a network-centric warfare concept, where it would operate in coordination with satellites, drones, fifth-generation fighters, and even ground-based defense systems. This would expand its role beyond a strike platform, making it a strategic element in a modern, interconnected warfare network. Although the project is still in the testing and development phases, initial prototypes have already begun assembly, and rumors suggest the first test flights may take place soon. If the results are satisfactory, the PAK could enter production by the middle of the next decade, consolidating Russia as one of the few countries in the world capable of developing a long-range stealth bomber. Differences between the PAK and Russia's previous bombers. The Russian Air Force, historically renowned for its formidable strategic bombers like the Tu-160 Blackjack and the Tu-22M Backfire, is now preparing for a radical transformation with the arrival of the PAK, the brand new next-generation stealth bomber developed by Tupolev. The PAK-DA is not just an upgrade, it represents a complete reinterpretation of Russia's strategic bombing doctrine. To understand its impact, it is essential to compare it with its predecessors, examining their key technological, tactical, and conceptual differences. The Tu-160, introduced in the 1980s, is the largest and heaviest supersonic bomber in the world, designed for long-range missions and capable of carrying a vast array of nuclear and conventional missiles. Its highlight is speed. It can reach Mach 2, which is rare for an aircraft of its size. The Tu-22M, older and smaller, first flew in 1969. Though more limited, it offered versatility and supersonic speed in medium-range missions, often supporting naval forces. However, both reflect 20th-century warfare concepts: speed, payload, and intimidation. The PAK-DA, on the other hand, marks Russia's definitive entry into the era of stealth warfare and strategic technological superiority. Unlike its predecessors, which prioritized range and payload capacity, the PAK-DA prioritizes low observability, survivability in contested environments, and precision strikes with smart weaponry. One of the most noticeable differences lies in its design. While the Tu-160 features variable sweep wings and a conventional fuselage, the PAK-DA will adopt the revolutionary flying wing concept, similar to the American B-2 Spirit. This configuration offers aerodynamic and stealth advantages, allowing the aircraft to operate with an extremely low radar profile. It also helps reduce thermal and acoustic signatures, making the PAK-DA significantly harder to detect by radar and infrared sensors. Another contrast is in the engines. While the Tu-160 relies on powerful engines to achieve supersonic speeds, the PAK-DA will not be supersonic. This may seem like a step backward at first glance, but in reality, it reflects a shift in combat philosophy. Rather than breaking through defenses with speed, it will aim to avoid them altogether using stealth technology and long-range missiles. In other words, the PAK-DA will be able to strike strategic targets without ever entering hostile airspace. From a technological standpoint, the PAK-DA will integrate state-of-the-art electronic and cyber warfare systems. It is expected to operate with onboard artificial intelligence for real-time threat analysis, electronic countermeasure responses, and automatic route adjustments. Unlike the Tu-22M and Tu-160, which rely heavily on more traditional navigation systems, the PAKDA is being designed for network-centric warfare, operating in sync with satellites, drones, and ground command centers. Furthermore, the PAKDA will function as a multi-purpose platform. It won't be just a nuclear bomber, but will also be capable of performing conventional strike missions, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare. It is expected to carry hypersonic missiles, onboard drones, and precision-guided munitions, being compatible with Russia's most modern strategic and tactical arsenal. Interestingly, while the Tu-160 and Tu-22M were developed in a Cold War context, where nuclear escalation and arms races drove military advances, the PAK-DA emerges in an era of hybrid warfare, where threats are more diffuse and battles are fought both in the air and in cyberspace. The focus now is on versatility, secrecy, and full integration with digital systems. Finally, there's a key difference in cost and production. The Tu-160 was extremely expensive and complex to manufacture, which limited its numbers in service. The PAK-DA, although advanced, is being designed with modularity and maintenance in mind, aiming for a larger, more adaptable fleet suited for future needs. Although exact figures remain secret, it is estimated that Russia plans to gradually replace the Tu-160 and Tu-22M models with the PAK-DA starting in the late 2020s. In summary, while the Tu-160 and Tu-22M represent brute power and Cold War dominance, the PAK-DA symbolizes the new mindset of strategic aviation: invisibility, intelligence, precision, and flexibility. It is not just a bomber, it is a strategic step toward redefining the balance of global air power in the decades to come. Possible reactions from the United States and NATO. In the face of emerging strategic threats, such as the military technology advancements of powers like Russia and China, it is natural for the United States and its NATO allies to respond with forceful measures. One of the most predictable and dangerous reactions is the intensification of the already existing global arms race. History shows that whenever a nation introduces a significant innovation to its arsenal, its adversaries are quick to respond in kind. This ongoing cycle tends to trigger increasingly sophisticated developments, while also raising the risk of indirect conflicts or even direct confrontations. The concept of an arms race is not new. It gained prominence during the Cold War, when the United States and the Soviet Union competed for nuclear and technological supremacy. The mere possibility of one power achieving military superiority was enough to mobilize billions of dollars in research, development, and weapon production. Unfortunately, this scenario is not just a chapter from the past. With the emergence of new stealth bombers, hypersonic systems, and autonomous attack drones, the US and NATO now feel compelled to accelerate their defense investments once again. The Pentagon has already indicated a budget increase for programs like NGAD, Next Generation Air Dominance, which aims to develop a new generation of radar-evading fighter jets that surpass the current F-35 in efficiency. Additionally, there is a growing effort to modernize anti-ballistic missile systems such as THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, and Patriot, ensuring they are capable of intercepting increasingly fast and unpredictable threats, including hypersonic missiles. Within NATO, strengthening air defenses has become a top priority, especially for countries bordering Russian-influenced regions, such as Poland, Romania, and the Baltic states. These nations have already begun receiving advanced air defense systems, along with additional troops as part of the alliance's so-called readiness forces. Another crucial aspect is the increase in joint military drills, exercises designed to simulate wartime scenarios and test the integration between member states' armed forces. An interesting fact is that in recent years, the United States has sought to develop not only more powerful weapons, but also directed energy defenses, such as high-powered lasers and microwave systems capable of neutralizing drones and missiles in mid-air. This type of technology, once confined to science fiction, is now being tested on ships and ground-based military installations. However, technological progress isn't limited to the physical domain. Cyber defense has become a top priority. In fact, NATO officially recognized cyberspace as an operational domain in 2016, alongside land, sea, and air. This means that a severe cyber attack may now be treated as an armed attack, potentially justifying a collective military response. Finally, another central element in the US and NATO response is the strengthening of strategic intelligence. Agencies such as the CIA, NSA, and NATO's Intelligence Fusion Center have intensified the collection and analysis of data regarding the military movements of their rivals, focusing on predicting technological breakthroughs and changes in adversarial combat doctrines. The use of spy satellites, communication intercepts, and artificial intelligence to forecast war scenarios has become routine behind the scenes of geopolitical confrontation. In short, the United States and NATO's response to new military developments by their rivals is broad, strategic, and extremely swift. It involves not only the expansion of their arsenals and the development of new weapons, but also the modernization of their defenses, the strengthening of alliances, and the intensive use of technology to ensure battlefield superiority, whether in the real world or the virtual one. When will the PAKDA become operational? Russia has been heavily investing in the development of the PAKDA, short for Perspektivní aviační komplex dálné aviací, or Next Generation Long Range Aviation Complex, a strategic stealth bomber that promises to radically transform the offensive capabilities of Russian aviation. This ambitious project, led by the renowned Tupolev Design Bureau, is seen as Russia's answer to the US B-21 Raider bomber, and has generated great anticipation among military analysts around the world. The official development timeline for the PAK-DA began to take more concrete shape in the mid-2010s, although the first concepts date back to 2009. In 2020, reports emerged that a functional prototype was already under construction and that initial ground testing would begin soon. According to Russian defense industry sources, the PAK-DA's first test flight is expected to take place between 2025 and 2026, marking a crucial step toward making the aircraft operational. If the timeline is not delayed, something relatively common in highly complex military programs, full-scale production is expected to begin around 2027 or 2028. The official entry into service with the Russian Aerospace Forces, VKS, is projected for the early 2030s, more precisely between 2030 and 2032. The Russian Ministry of Defense plans to gradually replace the aging Tu-95MS and Tu-160 bombers with a more modern, stealthy, and technologically advanced fleet. One of the PAKDA's main features is its subsonic flight capability with extremely long range, as well as its ability to carry hypersonic missiles and nuclear weapons. The bomber was designed with stealth in mind, employing low radar signature design technologies, extensive use of composite materials, and angled surfaces similar to those found on fifth-generation aircraft. Interestingly, unlike the Tu-160, which relies on supersonic speed to evade threats, the PAK-DA follows a philosophy closer to that of the US B-2 Spirit, invisible attack. This means it is designed to penetrate deep into enemy territory undetected, rather than relying on speed to outrun defenses. This approach represents a strategic shift in Russian military thinking, signaling an adaptation to modern warfare based on sensors and advanced air defense systems. Another key highlight is that the PAK-DA will feature a new turbofan engine, reportedly derived from the NK32-02 engine used in the Tu-160M, but with substantial improvements in efficiency and thermal cooling capability. Additionally, the cockpit is expected to include an advanced digital control system, fly-by-wire, augmented reality interface, and semi-autonomous operation capabilities, representing a clear technological leap over previous generations of Russian bombers. According to behind-the-scenes rumors, the aircraft may even have an unmanned version in the future, or at least partial remote operation. This opens the door for the PAK-DA to be used in reconnaissance missions, electronic warfare, and strategic deterrence with reduced human risk. Despite significant challenges ahead, such as international sanctions, technological limitations, and funding issues, the Russian government has already declared the project a national priority. The budget allocated to the program, though not officially disclosed, is estimated in the billions of dollars and involves dozens of research institutes, defense manufacturers, and specialized engineering centers. In summary, if all goes according to plan, the PAK-DA will become one of the pillars of Russia's nuclear triad in the coming decades. It will not only replace aging platforms but also bring new strategic capabilities to Russia with the potential to alter the global balance of power, especially in an era where electronic warfare, nuclear deterrence, and stealth technology are increasingly relevant. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Also, check out some other interesting videos that are popping up on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.